I
Yeah.
hate Firewire. I
I,
hate
I,
Firewire.
thing is, I've got to go in 5 minutes.
Oh, let's make it quick then. Let's make this really good. Let's make it a really good 4 minutes. We'll smash
Yeah,
it, bro.
yeah, good. It's amazing 4 minutes. It's uh, this one's been a bit crazy getting
Yeah,
you with me because partly my fault, I'd think, and
that's all right.
partly Liverpool Football
Part,
Club, I would say. Um,
and that too, yeah.
yeah,
And
so
that too.
we've had
It's
to.
understandable, man.
It is. We've waited 30 years, so
Yeah,
a few more days is not
exactly.
going to hurt.
Absolutely. I got my scarf as well. Look, show you my scarf. I'm gonna wear this all through the summer, even though it's a bit hot. You see it?
Champions.
Is it the right way around?
It is the right way around. It's perfect. Perfect,
Yeah,
mate.
and it's got the year on it and everything. So I'm gonna wear it throughout the summer.
Yeah, I mean, it's been crazy, right?
'Cause-
Only
Yeah,
Liverpool could win the league after 30 years,
mad, and
and
it be under this circumstance.
it's a bloody global pandemic. Only
It's
us.
ridiculous, isn't it?
I know.
It can't happen to anyone else. But you know what? The Null and Void Brigade, they've gone a bit quiet now, so that's good.
They were so annoying. It was. I had loads of them. I got a lot of Tottenham fans who
Okay.
mates WhatsApping me. Because I'm from down south originally. So
Yeah. Okay.
and they were saying, they should void the season because
Yeah.
it's not safe. It's not safe, right? And
Well, you know what? This should void now. I really think that this should void it now because it's just not safe. It's the Champions League.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not safe, man. Got to think about people's health.
Exactly, and that's all we ever thought about was people's health, didn't we?
Exactly.
But then people saying void the league. These Spurs supporters that have been bugging me for the last few weeks.
Yeah.
They're the ones who be going for a mixed grill soon.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. They were probably down Soho this weekend, weren't they?
Exactly.
Some of them. Yeah.
Yes. So anyway, we've got it. We won it, and gladly, it's nice they've won it, and we're here now talking. And GV, thanks for coming on. Definitely.
Oh, my pleasure, bro.
And I had a previous podcast before. I don't know if you know. It was called the British Asian Podcast, and it started in 2015. And even in 2015, you was one of the guys that I wanted to get on.
Wow. Oh, that's really nice to hear. Thank you. I appreciate that.
No, and that sort of shows how long you've been around. You've been
in a minute now.
Yeah, you've been in industry a very, very long time. And I interview all types of people on here, but I like talking to people in the music industry because it gives me a chance to listen to their music, which I call research. Right.
Okay.
So I'm literally on my couch just going through iTunes and checking out tunes, and
that's wicked.
Yeah, it's fun, right? It's fun, right? And some of your work, there's such a vast range of work that you've done.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
With some fantastic artists, and I was even surprised. I was like, all right. You've got Garry Sandhu and that young lad Diljit. He's fantastic. What a great vocalist,
amazing vocalist. He is really underrated.
Really underrated. I was thinking this guy should be right up there with the top people now.
Absolutely.
But let's start from the beginning, GV, for yourself. I kind of got to know you in 2015, probably 2014 before. But I think was it your first album 2013 or was it before that even?
No, 2010 was my first album, which was From the Ground Up. But before that, there were a few releases before that as well, but they just had my name on it. So people just saw the name on the sleeves if people cared to read the sleeve. But then, so before that, my credits were maybe playing Tumbi on someone's song or Logoje on someone's song, but sometimes I was credited, sometimes I wasn't. And, this dates back to 2002, 2003, so a long time. Yeah. And then my first, I think, credit as a producer, I think, from what I can recall, was Loud and Proud. As a project, it was a compilation album, Loud and Proud. That was my first credit. I think that was 2006, 2007. And then Jaz Dhami's debut album, I did the opening song on that album, a song called Gobru. So I produced that. And that was my first real, sort of project that really built up my confidence to think, actually I can do this and people are enjoying my music, and that song was on such heavy rotation on BBC Asian Network and people were requesting it and all sorts. I was like, wow, this is crazy. So then a year later, that was 2009, and a year later is my debut album, which was From the Ground Up, which also featured like Jaz Dhami was on there with a song called Potta Jattada. There was Jati Cheed was on there. He's my boy. He's been my boy from like when we were school days. So we go way back, man. And if you look at any project I've done, there's one consistent. It's him. He's one of my best mates. Like, forget music. He's one of my best friends in the world. He's my brother. You know what I mean? So he was on there. Nirmal Sidhu was on there. Master Sleem, Master Rakesh was on there. There were loads of people on there, man.
Exactly.
Even Garry was on there, but Garry was doing backing vocals on that album. He didn't.
Garry Sandhu.
Yeah, he was on there as well, but we had a song even for that album, but it just didn't, like, sometimes you do a song, as you know, it doesn't sort of come out of the way you want it to and whatnot, and I needed to get that album out, so yeah, man, but obviously he was on the next one, but yeah, so
it's crazy
quite a while.
If you think about it, when you look back at it, that you actually cut one of Garry Sandhu's songs off your album, it just wasn't good enough, right?
But I think it should always be that. It shouldn't be a case of, and I've done it after that, to be honest, a few mistakes where we've just put a song out because of the fact that it's with a certain person or whatever, but the song isn't really right. And just before you're about to release that song, you actually know, I don't really stand by this song, but I'm releasing it because the marketing behind it is going to be good and all of that kind of stuff, which is the wrong reason to do it, I think. Because really it should be about the art, it should be about, does this song stand up on its own? Will somebody hear this walking past the shop or, discover it on Spotify or wherever else? Are they going to discover it and go, wow, I love that song? Because when people do that, they don't care who's singing it. So, it should always be a certain standard. And every time I've compromised that, the song's tanked. So,
I think looking at your albums and your singles, as you've kind of gone in your career, and this is just me by listening and seeing your the artwork and design, you've progressed to what a proper artist, I would say, as a proper.
Thank you.
Do you understand what I mean? I mean, originally you could start off as a music producer and you make a cookie cutter song, and it's out there.
I've done loads of them.
But I think as you've grown as a person and you've matured, you thought there's got to be more to music and art than just making a song. And also 100%. I'm really happy you said that, because it's nice to know that that's been noticed, because that's exactly what I think about the whole thing as well. Because when you start out, you don't really necessarily understand good song selection. The songs don't necessarily reflect who you are and what you stand for. So there's an element of that. There's an element of, you haven't had life experience, so all you're really looking for at that time is a hit, a dance floor banger, as they call it, or I don't know, a love song or whatever it might be that you're trying to put out. It might be for the wedding market. It's always things in mind like that. But then as you get older, if you're being true to your art, I think anyway, you're going to progress. Your music should show some sign of progression. If you still, after my last album was in 2018, and my first album was in 2010. And if both of them sounded exactly the same, there's been no progression in that time. Which I wouldn't really feel very proud of that, because it means I haven't grown musically. I haven't grown as maybe a person, because I'm not comfortable enough to speak about things, that really, as life takes you on its path, you do grow, you learn new things, you see things that you want to talk about through your music. So, and I guess that's what I've been trying to do, really. And I think that naturally happened for me. It wasn't a case of I set out to do that. It was just what I was feeling at the time, and I did take a little break, but that was because I was making songs. I made a lot of songs in that little break that I had, I think about between 2016 to 2018. I was making loads of songs. People think, you just disappeared, that you're gone. I was making so many songs, but I wasn't feeling any of them. And it was the same stuff I'd already done, and I knew that if I think that, I knew people would think the same thing. Like, it sounds exactly the same, the last album. So where's the progression? Where's the growth? What have you learned in life? You know what I mean? Like, what's important to you? And also, I just needed something to be excited about, which is where Starve the Ego came out. It was a concept album. I was like, it'd be cool to do a concept album. I started writing it. I wrote that whole album from start to finish. And it's something that just developed over time. Things that I saw
experiences that either I had or people around me have had, stories that I heard, just things like that. I was writing it down, and I was piecing all this thing together slowly, and it was just exciting, But
yeah,
I think it's awful, when you've got like a really and sorry to cut you off. I think it's kind of whack, really, when you've got an artist that you really like, but they show no growth. So their first album you absolutely loved that album, but then they made the second album. They made the first album again the second time, and then they made the first album again, third and fourth. By the time you get to 4 or 5, people are like, I'm done with this now. I'm bored of it, right? So I didn't ever want to be that. So, as life happens and I grow up, I hope my music will keep growing,
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, for any UK Asian based artist who names an album Starve the Ego, he's obviously trying to put some kind of statement on there,
I guess so.
I could tell when I saw the graphics for it. I didn't hear none of the songs, but I knew that from the title, I thought, all right, this guy's trying to say something here. So I wanted to check it out. I wanted to see what the songs were about, because you couldn't have proper, pop Bhangra songs with an album title called Starve the Ego. It wouldn't make sense, right?
No, it wouldn't make any sense.
And each song had a message, and there were some very deep messages in there. And I thought, and I've always thought that Punjabi music, Bhangra music, definitely couldn't send messages out there. It doesn't need to be all about dancing, drinking, which is fun. We all love songs.
There's a place and time for it, and I love them as much as anyone else. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah, and I think some of the styles of your songs. I mean, the music that you had. I mean, Starve the Ego. 2017 was it, or when did it?
2018.
2018.
October 2018.
So that's 2 years ago now. But some of the music styles that you had in there, this sort of Punjabi sort of rap style. That's what's in at the moment. And so 2 years ago, obviously it took a year before that, he was probably making it. He was kind of ahead of your
2 years before that. I think the mistake I made with that album, and it feels like a mistake now, but there was reasoning to how I live in a time now where everything is, everything's sort of throwaways, and it's, the attention spans are not there. And people just sort of consume something and just throw it away. And so my thing was, I started writing this album in 2016. I recorded it. It didn't take that long to record, but to piece it all together, the different songs, because if you listen to that album from top to bottom, every song connects
to the next,
so like wherever that song left off, the next one connects. So to put something like that together, it's hard enough writing a song on its own, but then to make the story work and think of all the pieces and sequence and everything, that took a long time. And then I was like, if I just throw this album out now in one go, which is really what it was meant to be, because it was like this short film with it, there was an 18-minute video that accompanied that album, which I split up into smaller videos. I was like, if I do that in a week or two, no one's going to remember it, or people will move on. So I was like, then, from a marketing point of view, that's not really a good business move, if you like, or even, from a marketing point of view, it's not the way to do it, I think, which is why a lot of people, even around then, were releasing albums, but they were releasing them all as singles, one after the other. So I was like, I'll release 2 or 3 singles first, and then I'll drop the rest of the songs. In hindsight, if it were now, I would just release the whole thing, because it was the statement that I should have gone for, but then after working on something that long and hard, the last thing you want is, with people's attention spans, like I said, you don't want it to just come and go in a week or two either. You want people to give each song the time of day, which is why I put them out separately. I didn't want it to be a case of, that's it, here you go, here's the album, and that's it. But I wish I did, to be honest. I wish I did release it like that now, just because I think the story went over people's head because I split it up, whereas if I dropped it in one go, it would have been an 18-minute video that came out on the same day with all them songs, and there's a story, and I think it would have been cool. I would do that now, but there was a reason for why I did it the way I did it then, and even now it wouldn't make sense to drop the whole thing in one go, for those reasons.
It's a difficult one where someone like you spent so much time and effort money creating this.
Oh, that was expensive. That album was expensive, bro.
You know, creating something like that, and you're right. And then just to put it out there, and you're thinking, well, maybe people might listen to the first 2 songs, and I want them to listen to the last song as well. And you know, I could see where you was coming from doing it. It is very hard. There's a balance, and I spoke to another singer on this show a few weeks back, and products are throwaway these days. All artists.
Exactly.
Photography. I do photography as well, and some of my pictures, I take so much time in editing them, making them look perfect, make sure they're all in focus, and I put them online, and it's just gone. It's along with all the millions of other photographs.
There's so much stuff out there. It is a case of, you know, and music's like that. People just flick through it. Photos are the same. People just flick through, and that's it. They're done with it. You know, which is a shame, really. Because I think, you know, art deserves its sort of, you know, it's people giving it their time, and, you know, just, I don't know how to describe it, but it deserves its own place, you know, art does. Whether it's photography, whether it's film, whether it's music or paintings, whatever, you know, I love all art. So, you know, I'll go to an art gallery and everything. So I love all of that stuff, you know, and I think everything, like, I love to know, like, what was the art? I'll stand there and I'll be like, I wonder what the artist thought of when they were painting this picture, or when they were molding this, you know, whatever they've done here. What's the meaning behind it and all this stuff? I love that stuff. But then whenever I've said that to someone, it's like, oh, what's this guy on about, man? You know, it's boring to some people. And I think people's attention spans these days, it's a shame, really, because I think there's a lot to be said for good art out there, you know.
100%. I mean, when I take my daughter to my older daughter to like museums or even art galleries when we could leave the house. She would say to me, "What does that mean?" And I would say to her, "What does it mean to you?"
Yeah, exactly. You just nailed it, bro. What does it mean to you? And that's the beauty of it, you know. And I think sometimes people have said, "Oh, what was that meant to mean?" And I don't really like going into the details of it, because if I tell you, you're no longer challenged to use your imagination anymore.
Yeah,
you know, absolutely. I've told you what it's about. So
it's about what it means to you. That's what I try and get her to think about. You know, what does it mean to her? Not what. It's not black and white. You know, art's not black and white. You know?
Well, it's not. Art is whatever it is, right? Let your imagination run wild, and just and like, how do you see it?
Yeah,
and I love that. And as an artist, you want that as well. You want your audience to perceive it a different way than maybe you perceived it.
Yeah,
I love that, man. I love that.
I think that's very interesting in your journey. You're definitely someone who started out making music because you enjoyed it, and you kind of followed the formula like everyone else did at the beginning. You thought, this is the way 100%. You do it. This is what we have to do. This is how we make music. We release it, make a video. And then I think you may have got to a point, you can tell me obviously if I'm wrong, that you got bored of that system.
100%. That's the best word for it. I got bored. I got bored of the system, like you just said. I got bored of the same release cycle, the same process. You find a song or you write the song yourself. It's either about girls, it's about drinking, it's about partying, it's about someone's wedding, it's about love, it's about a few things, really. Because everything else apparently doesn't work in our community. Even though we got so many issues and so many things that happen in our community that we all relate to, but there's only about 5 things that we really write about and we put forward in songs, really. Oh, and obviously being a gangster, whether you are one or not, and that as well. Let's not forget that, right?
With your dad's car,
with your dad's car, and and let's not go into the other stuff. But right. But it's all of that, right? So I think that's a bit of a shame, really, because there's a missed opportunity with all of that, you know. And I was going through that. I was just like finding songs or writing them myself just to go through the motions, you know. Oh, it's been this long. I need to do this now. I need to do this kind of song now. And every time I've done that, the song hasn't worked, you know. When I've just put out something organically and we've just gone with the flow and put out what I really personally believe in and enjoy at that time, those are the songs that have worked for me, you know. So yeah, you're 100,000,000% right. I just got bored, to be honest. You know, got bored of the same old songs. How many times can you make the same song? because essentially a Bhangra song, there's only so many ways to do a Bhangra song, because of the way our songs are written. And it's starting to change a little bit now. People are starting to sort of push the envelope a little bit more now. But for so long, it was the same. It was a stai, antara, mukra, antara, three antare, same thing, writers' names in the last verse, all the same stuff. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
It's all samey. And it got so, I vividly remember this happening. I was sitting there and I was listening to songs, mine and other people's, and I was like, I can predict the next line. And literally, I would sit there and I could predict the next line. And it was so obvious. And I was like, I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that artist anymore. Like, I just want to try different things. I'm not saying I won't do those songs in the future, but I just needed a break from them because it was just samey, And even when I do Bhangra song, I want to try and do something a little bit different now, a little bit push your art, try new things.
I think that's probably the only way now, the way society is, where we're on social media, to get known. Because if you're putting out the same as everyone else,
there's no point.
You're going to get lost in the tidal wave of information.
100%. Or you might even kill it for a little bit of time, but you'll only be part of the wave. And when that wave dies, so will, unfortunately, the likelihood of your career as well. Or your hype will go with it.
Yeah. You want to be a lighthouse.
Absolutely, you want to be a lighthouse.
You want to be stuck there, mate, and then the waves can come and go, but you're
you're still there. You're standing strong.
That's your new album title.
Yeah, Lighthouse. Might just do that and sample the Lighthouse Family or something. They're great. I like the Lighthouse Family.
Yeah. But fantastic. I mean, you're very you're into art. I can tell, and you're a very deep thinker. Yeah. I think do you sit with your thoughts a lot on your own?
Loads.
You overthink a lot a bit sometimes.
Overthink. I like to be in my own thoughts, be left alone occasionally, and just get lost, like you said, get lost in thought, and try and put perspective on things and whatnot. I think some of it might sound cheesy if I go into too much detail, but like, you know what I mean, like just how things work, how the world works, how life works, and meaning behind things and all this kind of stuff, some deeper stuff. Not everything is straightforward, is it?
I don't find that cheesy at all. I think your the way your mind works is a creative. You want to question why things are the way they is. Well, why do people act like that? But why has he done that? Why did she leave him because of that? And there's deeper motives behind all your thoughts.
Absolutely.
And that's what's come out, obviously, in Starve Your Ego. I reckon it's built up throughout all them years you was making songs.
Yeah, it's always, some of those, ideas have probably been there for years, because like there was a song on that album called Rule the World. And although I wrote that in, I think, probably 2018, that was one of the later songs that I did. A lot of the lyrics, there's like a line here and there I had for years because I thought of a line, and then another one and another one. And I just gradually just put that song together. I had all that content already, from years back. It's just that I didn't feel ready, or I didn't feel it necessary to make a song about those things, But then also in leading up to that album, there's a lot of things that I saw in that time, I also, after I released my first album, you go from, especially back then, because our industry was a lot more heaving then, it was still a buzz around our scene in the UK in 2010. You go from no one knowing you to a lot of people knowing you all of a sudden. You're on TV, you're on radio, you're on social media, and all of that. So some of them songs were about that, about how people treat you differently, or you know what I mean, like all of the things. And I didn't really look at them from a musical point of view. I looked at them from a life point of view, if that makes sense. So I looked from that, I was able to relate that to, okay, well, what about people with loads of money? So I would go to like a wedding. I went to a wedding, right? And I was looking at this one table, and I know there's a really wealthy person at this table, and it's surrounded by all these people, and you can see butt kissing from a mile away when you see it. Let's face it, and it just, them kind of things just always make my mind turn. Like, would they be like that? Would they treat him differently if he wasn't who he is? what would be that exact relationship? What would be the dynamic of that table? You know, stuff like that. I think that's a bit bizarre, a bit much, but you know, I think about those things like, how would that dynamic be different?
Yeah.
If that person wasn't so loaded.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. Because I know
that was, you know, that was Rule the World, was that? Basically.
There was a lot of lyrics about making money, being famous, the ego. I picked up a lot of that kind of vibe, and
there was, and that's where it came from, you know, Starve the Ego, because in 10, 15 years, I've seen a lot of, you know, a lot of people come, a lot of people go, a lot of people become overnight stars. Some people handle it well, some people not handle it so well. Some people's egos inflate like ridiculously. Some people keep their feet to the ground, and I've seen the effects of all of that as well. You know, I've seen people go a bit nuts, and people hold it down. So, you know, it was all of that, man.
Yeah. So sometimes people that get big overnight, got some success. I know one of the songs was dealing with alcohol, drugs.
Yes. Yeah. Mirror.
So was that one of the aspects that you saw? It's not a personal thing to you, is it?
Yeah.
I mean, did you have any issues with drugs yourself, or
no? But I haven't personally, but yeah, I know of people you know, close to me who've been through it, you know. So it was based on real life experiences. It wasn't something that I just saw on TV and made up, you know. So I've seen the struggles, I've seen what people have gone through, I've seen the effects on family members of stuff like that, you know. But I've also seen what the individual's gone through, you know, because it's very easy to turn your back on an individual, and not see it as an illness. You know, and especially in our community, I think a lot of people are just like, you know, in the shape they can't die, right? It's that, like, throw him away, forget him, whatever, or her, right? Rather than deal with the issue and all of that. So I've seen it from both perspectives, to be honest with you, you know, and I think it's a shame from both sides, and everyone that is affected, you know, from the individual to everyone else. So I just wanted to highlight that, to be honest, because I have seen it, and you know, like with where I went to, you know, where I grew up, and you know, in the school I went to, I had a lot of friends who, you know, had a lot of talent, whether it's academic talent or footballing talent, you know, or whatever else it might be, you know, a lot of potential, let's say, and they ended up in the wrong. Things didn't work out, you know, and all of that, I drew upon all of that for that album, you know. So there was a lot of life experience that went into that album. It wasn't stuff that I just, like I said, made up. It was based on things I'd seen personally, you know. And Mirror was just like, that's my favorite song I think I've ever made, and I had so many messages, you know, private DM from, you know, people who have either been through it themselves and they shared their struggle with me. And I was like, wow, I can't believe, like, so many people like reaching out to me and all of that, you know. And these were private, you know, things, so I didn't ever highlight them and whatnot. But, you know, just the fact that somebody would reach out to me and they were like, oh, really related to this song, you know. But then I even had people who said, oh, I've had not an addiction with drugs and alcohol, like the song makes out, but I've had an addiction with gambling. I even had that, right? Messages like that from people, but then also from family members, like, oh, so-and-so, you know, I know went through this, and, you know, this is how it affected us. And, you know, so that song, man, like, the impact of that song was phenomenal. You know, it wasn't a commercial success,
no,
but I'm okay with that. I don't really care. Not everything has to be a commercial success, you know. But when people reached out to me like that, that was like, wow. That's like,
I mean, that's got to be one of my favorites, because the other day I interviewed Tubbsy. Tubbsy's obviously had his past with drinking, and I'm an ex-drinker as well. And so me and Tubbsy usually have this common bond, this background that we sit. And Mirror, as always, that's why I asked you if you had any problems in the past with yourself, because it kind of hit the nail on the head. And I thought, and no one's ever really spoken about this. And
and the thing is, we try to bury everything, you know.
Exactly.
We've all done things in our life that we're not proud of, myself included.
Oh, yeah.
Right, we've all done things, but it's one of those, we all try to be squeaky clean, you know. I certainly am not squeaky clean by any measure, and I'm sure most people that are listening are not. They've, you know, it's just life, isn't it? It's part of growth and whatnot. But that song was like, yeah, man, I laid it all on that paper with that one. I was just like, you know.
Definitely. I mean,
but you're right, like Tubbsy, you know, he's very open about things as well. And, you know, Tubbsy played on my first album, actually.
Did it? Yeah.
Yeah, man. Actually, not even on the 2010 one. You just remind me, there was another album before that never got released, and that was in 2003.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he's prolific, and he's played with literally everyone. Yeah. He's unbelievable. But that's when you know your art has hit a sort of a nerve with the world, really. You know, and so it'd be really interesting if you come out with more music like that, where
I do plan to, you know, but not the same thing again, you know. Like I said to you earlier, I want it to be
different,
something different.
See, for me now I know about Star of the Ego and about some of your other songs. When your new single or album comes out, I'll be actually looking out for it. So
thank
it's
you.
not so it's because I wouldn't think that listening to you now, and obviously I know you now, and I'm thinking, I wonder what GB's going to come out with. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. It's not going to be, oh right, he's a certain type of producer. He's probably going to have another similar type song. And
absolutely, bro. And do you know what? I said that to my wife not long ago. I said, I'd hate to be that artist that people say, oh, it's going to be same old. It's going to be a repeat. And that works for some people, you know, before I go any further. That does work for some people, and fair play to them. But like, you know, for me, it's not about live shows and all of that. So I don't have to do a certain type of song. For me, it's about my art, and it's about my production. It's about my songwriting, you know, because that's the other thing. Like, a lot of people don't realize I write my songs as well. A lot of them. So like, for me, it's the challenge of, what can I do next? Like, that's going to be different, you know. And that album was 2 years ago. And I haven't released another one, you know, GV project, solo project since, because I just want the next one to be right as well, you know. I just want it to be a little different. I'm not in a rush to do anything. I think that's the other thing. Everyone's in a rush all the time, you know.
Yeah. I don't know where everyone's rushing to. It's, relax.
Where are you going to go?
Yeah.
You know, pandemic, lockdown, we're not going nowhere. You know?
Liverpool's won the league.
We won the league, you know. Hopefully they'll null and void the Champions League. We're chilling, you know. Safety first.
Have you been working on some music now? I've
been working on bits and bobs, but it's the bits and bobs that become the bigger projects, you know. But I've been the hardest part for me has always been the concepts and the songwriting. Once I get that down, the music side is, you know, it's straightforward. I've been doing it for over 20 years, you know, so it's that usually falls into place pretty quickly. It's the songwriting and what I'm trying to say with a project, you know, that takes me a bit longer, because after Starve the Ego, I couldn't just put out, right? So then I had to sort of like sit back, and you have to live again, because you put everything, like I put all my thoughts into that album. So now how are you going to just make another one straight away when you've, you know, that's up until 2018 of my life. And that's where I've lived up to at that time. And I've put it out in a project. And then you have to have an element of living again. And then you put that out in a project, you know, whatever your experiences are in that time. And I'd like to see more artists do that in our scene, because I think a lot of people just do the conveyor belt sort of thing, you know. Sorry, is that even the right term? But, you know, like a factory sort of.
Just churning process, them out,
churning them out, you know.
Because there's an element of trying to play it safe as well. I understand people put a lot of money and resources behind
absolutely.
it.
And, you know, you've got shows that are dependent on it and all of that. So I completely understand that.
And I think a lot of artists, they get a hit song, or they have a certain style that's worked.
Yeah.
And it's so tempting to not deviate from that, because you have to be very strong. That's why I always look at artists like, say, Madonna. Who's been around for so many years, but she changes. David Bowie was another one.
100%. They reinvented themselves, right?
Yeah.
And And I think you have to do that with anything, because if you're not, then you're just repeating yourself. You either reinvent yourself or you repeat yourself. And if you repeat yourself, eventually the well's going to run dry, isn't it? Of ideas, of all of that, and fans are going to get bored as well. Whereas if you reinvent yourself, it's exciting. And like you said, you want to listen to someone's project because you're like, okay, what are they going to come out with now? What are they going to talk about? What their song's going to sound like? All of that kind of stuff. That excites me. That does, when it's something I know it's different. I love that.
Yeah, I love different. That's my thing, and I like
too.
I like people who think differently, who try and put something else into a song, and that's really important to me. And I really like the way you work and think. I think
thank you.
I think that's really. It's not about getting vocals from India for 300 quid.
No, and I did that on my first album, by the way. So I've been through that. I'm not knocking it. I've done it myself. But yeah, I agree. It's not.
And using the sample from Tubbsy's Brothers. The Only B, I was laughing about that the other day, right? And, he goes, everyone's been playing on that one, right?
The thing is, a lot of people don't realize it was his brother that played that original sample.
I know.
So many people don't realize that sample, and I think India just completely milked that sample off, didn't they?
Yeah.
Completely killed that sample off. If I don't hear that sample for the rest of my life, I'll be all right.
Yeah, exactly. So, in regards to the music production itself, so did you say you played a tumbi?
Yeah, I play a few things. I'm a bit out of practice, to be honest, with certain things now. 15 years ago, I was a lot hotter on certain things, but yeah, I can play like Lagoje, tumbi, play keyboards, guitar, but again, out of practice now. So yeah, I play a few things.
So when did you start? You must have started when you was a young kid at school. School time. Even before.
Yeah, I've always I had a little keyboard about this big. I don't know where it is. I would have found it for you, but it's one of them little.
Was it miniature
ones? It was a little.
Play Bossa Nova. When you used to press a button, it used to play Bossa Nova.
Yeah, something. It plays something. But so I've still got that somewhere. So I had one of them when I was about 4 or 5. So I learned how to play little tunes here and there. My cousin, a guy called Happy, who's a drummer, was in Suffrey Boys.
Yeah.
So I was always around their house, and so he would teach me like a few bits and bobs, and it was just that influence of being around music and all of that. So that that inspired me. And then it was just being at school, being into not just Punjabi music, but into all sorts of other stuff as well. I have always I loved Michael Jackson, as every kid did back in the 80s, but then I love rock music and all sorts of different types of, I like old school hip hop. I'm not a massive fan of the new stuff, a lot of it, but, I loved sort of that sort of not late 80s, I was too young then, but sort of early 90s, mid 90s hip hop. I love that kind of stuff. So, it was it all influenced me really. But yeah, I listen to everything, bro. Like, I listen to pop music, I'll listen to R&B, soul music, funk. I listen to everything, man. And seriously, depending on what day you catch me and what my mood is on that day, I'll listen to something else. Which is why I guess my music changes.
See, I like people like that. Sometimes I listen to French rap music. I don't know what I don't know what they're on about, but it's just got some vibe to it, man.
Yeah, it's the cadence, isn't it? And it's the like you said, vibe.
Yeah, it's just that sort of, and I really enjoy it. I've got my my hairdresser, my barber. I got him into it. An English guy, he goes, I love it. He goes, I don't know what they're on about either, but he goes, it's he works out with it. But
yeah, it's brilliant.
But I think if you're an artist, even when you do music or any kind of art, if you're a photographer or if you write, I think you should be open to all types of art.
100%. How can you really I don't know, learn and push your boundaries if you're so narrow-minded and you just listen to one type of music? Like, I remember back in school, and especially college days, I remember it was just cool to listen to only R&B and hip-hop. If you're an Asian kid, you only listen to either Bhangra music or R&B and hip-hop. That's it. You're not allowed to listen to any pop music or anything to, I don't know, just different rock, Oasis, Stereophonics, and all these, you know what I mean? Like, it was cheesy. I used to listen to it. I didn't care. I've never cared what people think of my music taste. I don't listen to it for them, you know. So they can do one, you know.
That's why I always used to like the sort of the English bands, you know, like Stereophonics, Oasis. Because they had such a great lyrically, they were so they were fantastic,
amazing, and they were so unique. They had their own identity. Every band from that era, like you listen to Blur, they've got their own identity. You listen to Manic Street Preachers, their own, you know, vibe. Oasis, obviously, you know, like Definitely Maybe and What's the Story, Morning Glory, two of the greatest British albums I would say ever made. You know, so Verve as well. You know, there's so many great bands, and they all had their own identity, whether it's in the way they play their chords or it's the way they write songs, or you know what I mean. Like they all had their own vibe, and so I love that stuff, man.
Yeah, my friends were the same. They're either into Bhangra music or R&B or hip. So I wanted to go and see Oasis in Wembley, the old Wembley.
Oh, okay.
So I had to go with my English friends. Because they didn't want to go, so I went with them because I just wanted to see this band who were so, you know, they were massive at the time. And
but, I think that's I love that. You know, I think we should all integrate with everyone, and I you know, I'm a firm believer of that. You know, we all learn from each other's cultures, and we can appreciate every type of music. We live, most of us, you know, so there's nothing wrong with listening to every type of music that's available, you know, because I love it, man. Like I'll listen to everything. What was the last concert? I went to see Incubus last year. You know, most people up on there, you tell Incubus, they'll be like, "Who the hell is that?" Right? Man, I had an amazing time, and you know, it is what it is, bro. You know, I love Red Hot Chili Peppers. I love Guns N' Roses. I love Metallica. Absolutely love Metallica. Most Asians, you know, Indian kids, you know, would be like, "What the hell are you listening to?" You know, just all this noise.
There was actually a Bhangra rock band, weren't there, Leo?
There's been a few, you know, a few have tried it. There's I can't remember what they're called. They're from Canada, this group, and they were really cool, man. They were really cool. But up now, I'm gonna, you know, like,
you're not gonna make weddings, are you?
You're not gonna make weddings, and you know, you'd be lucky to find us even because obviously it's niche, but then it's within Punjabi. You know, audience is really
like a niche within a niche, isn't it?
It's a niche within a niche, and it's just like,
I remember them, Leo.
It's niched good.
But I mean, that's the point of our. Like I said, I'm really looking forward to what you come out with next. I think it's going to be very interesting. Did you, when you work with singers? Obviously, I don't know if you sing yourself. Do you rap a bit as well? Or
I only did it for this album because. Only because I didn't really want to do it, to be honest. But then it was like, it doesn't make sense somebody else do some of these songs because I've written it from my own perspective, then my stories to tell. So it was like, you know, I'm gonna just speak it because it was meant to be that. It was more poetry, really. I wrote those as more poetry based, you know. They just became like rap songs, I guess. But that's what you know, the genre says they're called, but really they were written as like spoken word initially, and then they were just turned into those songs. But that was the only reason really doing it anytime soon again. But you know, it was for
that's kind of in at the moment now. AP Dylan, they're kind of doing these rap talking rap songs. They're not even singing, or are they singing? You know, it's kind of a
absolutely. But I think there shouldn't be any rules with music.
No,
you know, with art they aren't. Like if you said, where's the manual for it? There is no manual for it. You do what you want. That's why art is art. You do exactly what you want, and then if people like it, great. If they don't, okay, they don't like it. But it's your expression. You do it however you want. Unless you're trying to get, like I said, wedding gigs or something, then yes, there's a formula to follow. But otherwise, you do what the hell you want, man.
You're a bit younger than me, but I remember when Animika came onto the scene.
I remember Animika,
they didn't have a dolki or a dol as a band.
Didn't they have a
drum machine,
octopad,
didn't they? Octopad, and they had a drum. But I remember people saying, like, you know, in the industry, this is not Bhangra music. Right? Because they haven't got a door, they haven't got a dolki, you know, it's not proper Bhangra music. But that was where it was moving forward, wasn't it? It was.
Yeah, of course. But if you listen to Bhangra, by the way, I love that album, the PDM album right in the corner there. That you've got, I can see right here.
Oh,
Is that the vinyl?
No, that's actually what it is. I used to be in PDM, right? So
yeah, which I know.
Yeah. So when I left, when I live in Yorkshire now. So,
okay.
So when I left, the boys made me this to take with me. This is from their
nice
from the album, The Pump.
Awesome. Yeah, I like that album. That song, Janelle on that album was wicked, man.
Yeah.
That was my jam. I blasted that hard. I think I was at college or school when that came out.
Uncle's he's got a great voice, Uncle, and I was very lucky because I was friends with the Dholki player Raj Desi, who's the son of the main singer Bal, and his other son Diljit, who plays keyboards. I was friends with them, and I just really wanted to be in a band. And I used to do I used to do Bolliya for UK Bhangra group, and I said, "Can I do backing vocals?" And they were like, "Yeah, you know, you don't have to pay me or anything." And I just joined that way, and then I started doing weddings, and it was just the vibe of being with a band.
How long were you with them?
I was, I think, a good 5 years.
Okay, so quite a while. Was that late 90s or early 2000s?
Yeah, I was there with them till the end, till it all finished, and we did no more. We did a live lounge set a year and a half back for just to catch up, but we haven't done anything since. I think we still got some tracks that need to be finished. Who knows? I don't know if the guys are going to finish it off, but it's great though.
I think you guys were part of the sort of up until late 90s, early 2000s. I think that was the end of the sort of golden age, of the bands and whatnot. And it's such a shame because, there was a lot to be said for the bands as well, and like now, you still got bands as far as musicians that, play for a number of singers, but it's not like an individual band like PDM. You guys were just PDM. You know what I mean? Like, DCS were just DCS. They sounded like DCS, and Anarchy were Anarchy. You know what I mean? Like every band had their own 100%, vibe. And
that's
I love that.
That's what me and Tubbsy were talking about. That was his main thing. He goes, you knew each band had their own sound because it was the same people together. And he goes, even though he's got his own group of musicians now, he goes, it's not the same as that.
It's not. It's not.
He goes, everyone was in the studio when they made Bomb the Dumbi. It was everybody was in the studio. The whole band was in there. He goes, we wouldn't start until the whole.
Just imagine being part of that. Like that must have been so crazy. Like just
he goes, everyone
being
was
at the studio and
and
with everyone there.
Everyone,
the camaraderie must have been amazing.
I think that's where the energy was then heard in the album.
Yeah, 100%.
There's such a vibe in these albums. They're so fresh even now. And Safri was just on fire, wasn't he, at that time?
He was unbelievable. Unbelievable. I think he was the best UK Bhangra voice we've ever had.
Yeah.
Like there's never been better, in my opinion. Everyone has their opinion, but as far as just vocals and just vibe and, those songs, and like, there haven't been many groups that have had a 10-year run like they did, like Safri Boys and, Safri himself as well, with his own solo stuff that wasn't Safri Boys labeled, but, it's still part of. Bro, he had a run of like 10 years. Like there aren't many acts that had 10 years, man. It's really difficult to be at top, for that long.
I mean, he was an amazing run at one point. He was releasing. He had the Legends album, and then he had it was just one after the other.
Well, that was my cousins did that. So Def
Jam, that's right. Yes, they did. Happy
and Bobby and Bassie killed it with that. But like that also, we were mentioning earlier about influences. That influenced me as well because I got to see that whole thing coming together. Because like I said, I'd always be at their house. So. I remember Happy and Bobby sitting there in their living room drawing that little logo they had on the album cover.
Wow!
I remember that happening and them showing each other different pictures. I still remember that. It's crazy, and now it's such a part of British Bhangra history. I think and I got to witness that. So it was amazing times, man. But obviously, I was really little then. I was like, little kid. But
that's a great story cool, because it's an iconic album. That.
Yeah, it is an iconic album. Yeah. But Safri, man, his Legends. Then he had Death Jam. Then he had, what else was it? Get Real.
Yeah.
Off the Record. 24/7. Bomb the Dumbi. Another Fine Mess, bro.
I mean, them albums, every song was just amazing on it.
And then he had his collaborations with other people, Amajit Sidhu and Sukshinder Shinda as well. He had that, Another Level, ridiculous.
He was on
the catalog.
He was on Dollar Blasters as well. Do you remember? And
he was
Millimeter or something.
Just Safri's run was unbelievable, bro. Unbelievable. And that's why I got to work with him on Legends Bowling.
Exactly, yeah. So I was gonna ask you.
And I was like, he was like, what do you want me to do? And I was like, I don't know what to do, because he was my favorite growing up. He was my favorite artist. I loved the other guys as well. Like, they were all my favorites, but Safri was like my number one, vocalist. And so I was like, with the way the song was and the key the song was in, I was like, it just worked, that piece. And after that piece in the Bar Laga, they just worked perfectly. So that's why we redid that, just that little bully in that song. Because I was like, it's iconic.
So what did you feel like while you were sitting on the desk and you've got Balwinder Safri in the booth and, you're telling him to now record the vocals for your album and you're telling him, no budgie, you're probably, can you come in here? And you've got to have to tell them sometimes, don't you? Unless they hit home run straight away and bang it out. It doesn't always work that way.
No,
you must have been thinking, you had to pinch yourself at some point.
I'll be honest, it was a bit easier with Safri on call because I've known him a long time.
Oh, you're right.
I've known him, he was a friend of my dad's as well. So I've known him since I was a little kid, so I knew him before even Reflections. So I saw the whole him become this superstar, you know what I mean, sort of thing. But then it was still a dream of mine to work with him. It didn't make me any less of a fan, I was still like in awe, like, oh, this is my favorite singer. Do you know what I mean? Like, so it was still surreal, but that made it easier, the fact that I knew him, I already had like that relationship with him. So, we already very cool, obviously. So we had that rapport. So that wasn't as bad, but it was still surreal. Like, I was like, I dreamed of doing this. Finally, like, I dreamed of doing this, and now I'm working with this guy. And also same with, Apna Sangeet. I told Dips, who's a really good friend of mine as well, and I told him this once, that Apna Sangeet, when I was a little kid, I was at my cousin's wedding, and my cousins I was the youngest in my family, so my cousins are a lot older than me. So when they were getting married, I was still a kid. And I remember being at one of my cousin's wedding and Apna Sangeet were performing, and they gave me autographs because I was that fanboy, you know what I mean? So they gave me autographs, and I think they used to carry cards or like flyers with Apna Sangeet written on it, and they signed it for me. And I was like, so that I remembered when I was, when Apna Sangeet were vocaling, Hira as well, like, that was surreal,
exactly,
because iconic, Brim Me Same and Shin as well. Shin Paji was amazing, Shin Paji was crazy because I wrote he's part of the song, but then he phoned me up the morning of the vocal. He's going to do the vocal that night, and he was like, GV, so I'm practicing it, but I think if you don't mind, I'd like to make a few changes. I was like, you want to do it? You know what I mean? Like, I wanted that. I wanted him to bring his own flavor to it. I was like, but you do whatever you want, anything you want to change, you change it. If you want to change any words or whatever you want to do it. And he just put his magic on it. And I was like,
you just be Shin. You just be Shin from DCS. That's all we want.
The song and all of that, because I'm still producing it. If we want to do this, we want to spread something out, a section out. You want an extra 2 bars or whatever you want to do, we'll do it. Not a problem. Just do your thing, and so that was
Shin's one of my favorites. I did message him the other day, and he's going to come on the show actually. And I hope I'm not going to become a super fanboy and just be an idiot and ask stupid questions.
But he's so down to earth that it's going to be straightforward. That that podcast is going to be amazing because he just talks to you like you're a mate,
fantastic.
Which I love. I love that. And that's the other thing I felt. With a lot of the older generation of artists, I feel like either maybe fame did go to their heads back in the day, maybe, I don't know, but I just feel like they're so much more grounded with it. Like, I feel like today's artists, they have like one semi-successful song and they're just like you know, a lot of flying high in the clouds and everything, man. You know what I mean? Like, can't be seen out, can't do this, can't do that. You can do everything.
Yeah.
You know, you're not Beyonce or Jay-Z or someone, you know,
No.
like, just chill out, man. You can go to the shops, man, do your shopping, get your groceries, bro. It's all right, man. You know what I mean?
Feed your family, man. Don't worry.
Get those grille, man. Just get it, man. You know, it's all right.
We all need grille, though. You know,
we all need grille.
But yeah, I think it's a different world. You know, it's that social. I mean, people who don't even do anything are famous.
Yeah, are famous now. Yeah, you'll be famous for doing nothing.
You can be famous for showing your ass.
Which is a lot of people on Instagram.
There are women who literally have pictures of their booty, and they've got thousands of followers. I just don't get it, right? And,
But I tweeted something not long ago, and it was just a thought that I had, and I think the tweet was something along the lines of, people's lives are based on, you know, on Instagram. So if one day that app disappeared, their life disappears.
Yeah.
Because literally they've got nothing else to fall back on. Because if you look at a lot of these Instagram celebrities, you look at their Twitter following, they might have 100,000 on Instagram, but they might have 1,000 on Twitter or on Facebook or any other platform. So, you know,
exactly.
It's quite interesting, really, how all that works. Because
if that switches off,
not very good.
Or if all them things switch off, I think it will affect people mentally. You know,
it will 100%. But you can see it because some people upload so religiously, and you can see it, like they upload every day, and some of their uploads require quite a bit of work as well. You know, some cases it might be videos, edits, whatever it might be. You think, so you must be taking out quite a considerable chunk of your day every single day for Instagram, just for that. So then at what point are you living?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I was a lot more active, say 7-8 years ago. I was really active before. But maybe that was because I had more stuff to want to take a picture of. No, I've got more stuff actually that I take pictures of now because of, you know, my life and the things I do, but they're private moments. Whereas I guess with people who rely on Instagram, everything becomes a public moment.
Yeah,
there's nothing left for you anymore, you know. No. Like seriously, you know, especially with this lockdown, you know how everyone's bedroom looks, how their bathrooms look, how their, you know what I mean, the corridor in the house looks. Just everything. You know where they keep the masarani dal in the drawer in the kitchen. You know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous, bro. Like their level of, like, you know, openness with the general public. It's, you know, and that's okay, but I think you should still keep something to yourself.
I think there's a point of where people want to stay relevant because I know when people have come on my show, that the guests that have been on, some of them have asked, how many numbers did I get? What did I get? What was the download?
Okay.
And I said, and I always say, I don't check my downloads because I used to do it in my previous show, and then it became about numbers. And I got so distracted about how many downloads I got per episode. And if I got more on the next one or less on the next one, I'd think, oh shit, I've done something wrong here.
Yeah, of course.
I became obsessed. And then I thought, I'm not doing it this time. This time, I don't care. This is just going to be conversations with interesting people like yourself. And I'm just going to put them out there. People enjoy it. That's fine.
Yeah.
So
sorry, no, carry on.
No, I was going to say, if our self-value is put on numbers, shares,
100%, 100%, bro. You're so right.
I don't think you value yourself because I think it's empty. It's just empty.
Yeah, I just think, I think it's a shame, like, when that happens. And also, I think I think self-care is really important. And when you start becoming about the numbers, you're more concerned about, like you just said, about numbers and relevance and all of that. And I don't think that's very healthy for your mental state of mind long term, because what goes up comes back down. You know, if the biggest superstars in the world at one time that you couldn't even think would ever come down, they do come down. Every major celebrity. So if you haven't even got a talent to fall back on, and all you're falling back on is your ass or whatever you're showing off on Instagram, eventually either, you know, time happens and you become less interesting to the public, or the public move on to the next person, imagine your mental state of mind, because that's all you lived for the last X amount of years. You know, that's why I never let music and following get to me too much. You know what I mean? Like I enjoyed it, and I still do. You know, I still appreciate when I get love from the public and whatnot. But I never became consumed by it, because I think becoming consumed by it is a very dangerous thing. And I'm glad that I got to see people who did get consumed by it before I ever got any form of fame from this music thing, so that I could see the effects of it. And see, like, oh, do I really want to be that person? I don't really want to be that person. So, you know what I mean?
100%.
Because it's a shame. It
is,
affects your personal relationships as well in life. It's not just your mental state of mind. It's not just the numbers driving you mad and all that. It affects your personal relationships in life. And also everything you do is about Instagram. Even subconsciously, like people won't admit this, but people do a lot just for the Instagram. You know, even the charity work, down to the charity work some people do, which is so unfortunate, because some people are genuinely, I totally believe in the good of people, but, you know, and I'm sure there are a lot of people that do it for genuine reasons, but then there's a lot of people that don't do it for genuine reasons. And it's because of, you know, how's this going to look on Instagram? Oh, I'll go to eat here because it will look, I can take this picture for Instagram and I'll do this. Imagine how that's going to eventually start affecting your personal relationships with people, with your friends.
Absolutely.
You know, they're like, oh, can I be bothered to meet with this person? I just want to be, you know what I mean? Like, be about Instagram.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
if you got
even my kids sometimes say, they're talking to me and they go, I heard them once say, well, oh, Dad's not listening, he's on his phone again. Right. And I have to take a step back and think, I'm on my phone too much. On Instagram. So
I'm the same. I completely agree with you. I'm gonna hide my phone one day, because seriously, like, I took a break from Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. I deactivated them for like a few months ago, and it was I struggled for about 2 days, because I'd naturally gotten so used to going to the apps, but then it was so amazing. It was so it was just freedom from it all, and you don't realize how consumed we are by all these platforms until you don't have them anymore. And I don't think, and it doesn't really add anything to my, like, I don't know about yourself, it doesn't really add anything to my life. You know, like, occasionally, it's nice to keep up with your friends and all of that, but really, I think it takes away more than it adds in some cases.
I think it just takes away time. I went to India a few years back, and there was no Wi-Fi in the bend where I was. Well, they had it, but the electricity went out, as it does in India, you know, right?
So people had to talk to each other.
So I didn't have my phone, right? I didn't have the app, and after, like you, a couple of days, it was quite hard. But after that, I had my camera with me, I had some cameras, and I went out, took some pictures. I had no distractions. I had the greatest time ever.
I bet,
And then the Wi-Fi came back, and I was back on my phone again. But
exactly.
That week was beautiful, and just to be taking pictures and making some art, and reading. I started reading more. You know,
amazing. I love it. And the thing is, like, you miss out on priceless moments with your family.
Oh yeah.
You know, because here's the thing, right? Let's face it. At the end of it all, when you're 60, 70 years old, or 80, 90, whatever, you know, God blesses us with, when you're of a certain age, are you going to look back and say, shit, I should have been more active on Twitter or Instagram, or, you know, all the people you used to speak to? No, they're going to come and go. You regret not spending more time with or giving more attention to your family. You know,
100%.
Simple as that. And on my album, actually, to that point, there was the first song called "On the Run." It mentioned people being on their phones there as well. I can't remember the lyrics now, but it was talking about Sajjana Balayani Bolde or something, right? And it was talking about Lagge Betha Banda Paame Lagge Betha Banda Paame Thahi Mar Jaye Kande wife. Meaning, like, people are so consumed in their phones. It doesn't matter if the person in your room is even dead, because you might not know. You probably won't notice.
You won't even realize,
because you're so busy doing that on Instagram. You won't notice that the person's sitting in, you know. And if you watch Starve the Ego, the dad just fades away from the picture because the kids are on the phone all the time.
Yeah.
You know, it's time that we're wasting, really. And I'm guilty of it as well, really. And that's one bit that I need to learn to sort of calm down with. I've calmed down a lot, but, you know,
we're addicted, ain't we? We're addicted to bloody phones.
I'm totally addicted. You know, when we were speaking about earlier, like about addictions, that's the biggest addiction. It's horrible, you know. And like, I used to like really let it get to me. Like if I'd gotten a lot of messages, I was like, I have to reply to everyone, have to reply. Oh no, I haven't done it today. I have to do it. So I'd like sit there trying to reply to everyone. And it would get to the point where it would just be driving me mad because I cared so much about social media platforms. And it's not that I don't care about, like, you know, I don't respect people for tweeting me or whatever, or Instagram. Now it's not so bad, but, you know, before. But I realized like how much time I would take away. And it's important as well, you know, to have that relationship with people who follow your music and all of that. But it shouldn't be at the detriment of your own peace of mind, you know? No. Like if it's starting to affect you, like if it's starting to stress you out and you're getting anxiety from it. Like I used to get anxiety from it if I'd get a lot of messages because I felt like I felt obliged to reply to each and every single one of them, right? Mm-hmm. And that's okay in the beginning, but like if you're getting a lot of messages and you're letting that get to you, it's just not good for your own peace of mind, I don't think, you know, your own state of mind.
I recently went back on Twitter because I'd lost my other account because I stopped all social media as well since the last show finished, my podcast. I just took a break and I didn't really care, but I kind of need to be on it to get this show out. You're right. So I went back on Twitter. I've got about 30 followers. I've only been on in a couple of weeks, and I've just been following a few people, and I follow you, by the way. And
thank you. I followed you back.
Thanks. All right, and you're 31 then. I've got all right, and but some of the tweets are unbelievable, and it's it's complete nonsense. And I've got a friend coming on this weekend. He's in Canada. I'm a Panessa. He's a mix engineer.
I know,
you know him, right?
Yeah.
So I just want to see what the vibe is in. Good vibe is in India, and he always talks about brown Twitter. Because I know there's black Twitter, and I said, "Brown, what's that?" He goes, "You know, it's like Apne Bande on Twitter, right?" And I go,
"Apne Bande losing their shit over everything." Sorry, can I swear on?
You can swear on this. They are losing their shit.
It's Apne Bande losing their shit over every effing thing. Seriously, everything. You know what I mean? Like, it's
a thing. I didn't even know it's a thing.
Yeah, of course. You know, that's the other thing. Like, I used to really enjoy, like, when I say, it used to add anxiety sometimes not getting back to people, that was a pressure I put on myself to want to get back. But at the same time, with that said, even, like, I still enjoy the interaction, you know, with people that I don't know, I've never met, but, you know, it's nice to speak to, you know, and you make new friends on Twitter and Instagram. I love that side of it, you know. I love that. And it doesn't matter if you've got 31 followers or 31 million followers, you know. It's about, you know, just that interaction and whatnot. As long as it's a healthy interaction. But yeah, Twitter's changed. I think social media in general has changed from where it was. I've been on Twitter since 2008, I think, 9, around then. I've seen it change. But then we as a society have changed, and Twitter is just a reflection of that as well. And I think we've become a very, you know, this political correctness has going a bit silly. But also we're a society that believe in, you know, liberal values, and we believe in all of that. But then the ultimate contradiction is we can't handle an opposing view.
Yeah.
So we're saying we believe in equality and freedom of speech and, you know, liberalism or whatever, you know, terms people want to use for it. But if somebody doesn't share my opinion, well, you know, fuck them and this, that, the other, right? And
let's cancel them, cancel culture.
Cancel culture and all of that, right? Because people feel that they're that powerful on social media, you can just simply cancel somebody's life. Yeah. Like, just like that, right? You have the power to cancel them just like that.
They're trying to cancel J.K. Rowling.
Yeah. But here's the thing. They cancelled Donald Trump a long time ago. He's the president of the United States. They cancelled Kanye West. He's still Kanye West. You know what I mean? Like, as you know, I don't agree with people like Trump, but you know, Do you have the power to cancel anybody? No. You know, whatever's in someone's guesstimate, they're gonna get. Whether you think you have the power to cancel somebody, you know, and like I hate that term. Are we canceling this person? I thought we cancelled this person. What do you mean you cancelled this person? Yeah, exactly. God has the power to cancel somebody, not you with your whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous.
It's a difficult one, GV, because if I just follow people who believe in things I follow, I'm just living in a bubble. And absolutely. I'm not going to be open to listen to someone else's view, because in my bubble, I've just got people that agree and do the same things as me.
Exactly.
You know, a bit like Brexit. If I just follow Brexiteers, I'm going to be like them. If I don't try and follow a mix of people with different ideas, I'm not going to hear other sides of the story. And I think that's really important to do.
But I think a lot of people are incapable of that. Unfortunately, I honestly believe that. I think the majority of people are incapable of an opposing viewpoint. Absolutely, whether it's the right wing or the left wing. And if we're going to talk about politics, you know, the left, it's all free speech, but F you if you don't agree with what I said. So, what do you mean? So you like free speech as long as I say what you agree with. But if I say something other than what you agree with, then free speech doesn't apply anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's the ultimate contradiction. And then the right wing as well, just as bad. Like this, and I tweeted this as well not long ago, is they're just two opposites, the far left and the far right, but they're the equal amount of crazy. Absolutely. On both sides. They're both nuts. You know what I mean? I try my best to remain balanced. I'm not always balanced with all my beliefs, whether it's political, social, you know, religious even. But I try to stay as balanced as I can to try and learn from both sides. I think if everyone in society loses the ability to see both sides of an argument, there's no hope, because you can't progress like that. You can't go forward like that, you know?
No, I mean, I don't know whether social media is a mirror to society, or whether it's... Do you know what I think? Have we always been like this?
I tell you what it is. This is my view on it, and my view is not necessarily the right view. I think it's people saying shit that they can't say at work because you get sacked, right? So it's a playground to really let yourself go. So I can't find the term for it, but it's magnifying your, you know what I mean? Like your who you really are, I think. I think that's what Twitter is.
Your inner arsehole.
Your inner arsehole. But the problem is everybody's inner arsehole comes out in the same place.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. You know, people just go nuts, don't they?
Just a world full of arseholes.
Well, yeah, I guess if you want to put it that way, I guess maybe I am as well, I guess. But
I'm going to cut this part out of the interview and use that as a promo.
I just think I think everyone's capable of, you know, being one occasionally. You know, I'm sure I've been one, but I think we should just be a bit more tolerant of each other. Exactly. You know, try and listen to everyone. Try to understand why. You mentioned Brexit. Try to understand why have people voted that way. So if we don't like that, then maybe we can rectify certain things. Okay, some things are a bit, you know, always going to be beyond comprehension and all of that. But, you know, some things maybe we can learn from them in the future and all of that, you know, but there's just no balance. You know? I stopped tweeting about football. You won't see me tweet a lot about football. I'll occasionally tweet about football. I stopped a few years back, right? I still tweet about massive football fan. I don't tweet about football as much because I used to end up in just arguments with people.
Yeah.
Just because, like, they'll get personal, and it's just you're talking about football, right? And it's just ridiculous.
I just don't think it's a good medium to have a conversation with.
It's not.
That's why I think podcasts we can talk openly for a length of time and bash these ideas out, but not on social media, you know, with a few sentences and someone's coming back. How are you going to actually try and persuade someone or argue, debate someone even about something? You can't. It just won't work. You can't.
No. And I think, you know, the other thing is, I think a lot of these platforms don't do enough to stop things like bullying. because in a lot of cases, if you really look at people's debates and all that, it's verging on bullying, really, because Twitter started off as a medium where you could just put out your thoughts. It wasn't meant to be this giant messenger in public. That's what it's become. It's a WhatsApp conversation with people you don't know. That's what Twitter has become. It wasn't when it started. It was just meant to be. You're limited to 140 characters. I think it's 140.
Yeah,
you're limited to 140 characters, and you just put out your thoughts. And I used to love that. You just put your thoughts out, and that's it. But now you get to. And the other thing is, what I hate is you get to see people you're not even following. Because people like people's tweets, so you end up with a lot of nonsense that you don't care to see. But it's a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah,
social media.
It is a tough one. It's the powerful tools out there, and So I mean, for yourself going forward in your career, you're obviously still going to have to use it. So we have to all find balance. I have to use it to get the show out. I mean,
Well, I'm not going to say like maybe I haven't been clear about it. I love social media as well for what it's great for. You know what I mean? I love it, but in moderation. But I don't like it for things like what we've just been talking about. People just kicking off with each other all the time. It's that's just a bit too much. But otherwise, for promotion and in general to have a nice chat with people, good people. You meet a lot of them people on there as well, and for that it's amazing, but it's just got a bad side to it,
But GV, if there's a group of 10 mates, out of them 10, there's always one who's a wanker, really. and that's what the Twitter and social media is like. So many people. There's always going to be them bad apples in there. For everyone. I think we just need to be a bit more kinder to people. And
just be kind. That's it. That's all. That's what I'm trying to get at. Just be kind to people. You don't have to have a debate with someone by being rude and being offensive and you know what I mean, like getting personal and all of that kind of stuff. It's not necessary, but that's what Twitter is unfortunately full of at the moment, and it's not a good place, really.
No. I don't know if I'll stick on it. I don't know, but a lot of the guests that I've had on are on it, and so I kind of need to tag them in and tell them it's on.
I mean, it's good when it's good. It's great, right? But I just feel like it's not a very friendly place anymore. Like it's quite a nasty place at the moment. So there's a lot of bad stuff on there. Maybe that reflects where we're at as a society. Maybe that just is just the spot where people go to. Let off steam. I don't know.
I don't know about you, but 2020's been crazy. But for yourself,
nuts. Yeah.
What's your plans now for this year and musically? When do you think you're going to be releasing something?
2020. You're right. It's been nuts. It's been such a weird year. So, like I said, I've been writing stuff. I do intend to release at least a single this year.
Wow.
I'm not gonna commit to any more than that because I've done it in the past, and I'll say I can release 3 songs before the end of the year. I won't do it. I know I won't. But I plan to release a single this year, and I know of the song as well. I've got the song, and it won't be your typical sort of release. It will be something a little bit different. I plan to release that very soon. So that's the plan at the moment. I'm gonna start working on that very soon as well, musically.
So
I just took a little break with it all,
Yeah. I think you're going to be that type of artist who will release something, but you'll step back out of the sort of limelight and sort of recharge your battery, see what's going on in the world.
But the thing is, in that time, like people always like thought that I disappeared, even on those gaps that I wasn't releasing my own stuff. But between 2015 and 2018, in that time, I worked with Garry Sandhu. I did a remix track for him. I wrote a song for Jazzy B. I released a song with Garry Sandhu. Wrote a song for Rackstar and Zach Knight. There's so many projects I still did in that time with notable names as well. I'm not saying that it's all about the notable names, but I'm just mentioning them because these are still big projects that I did in in that time. So, and this year as well, like, although I haven't released anything myself, of my own projects, I wrote All Eyes on Me with Jazzy B. So, so I've still been putting stuff out. It's just, it might not have my GV logo on it as such, but I'm still active. But yeah, you're right. I'll always be taking those little breaks. I'll always be doing that. Yeah.
I mean breaks as in for your own personal projects. I think you need to step back
100%
from your own projects to recharge and to look at the world and to create something which is personal to you. I'm sure I know you've got stuff bubbling away and you've released stuff with other artists. I think that keeps you going as well. You keep the 100%. Engines running. So I look forward to your single this year anyway, definitely.
Thank you, bro.
And come back on and we can talk about
I'd
singles.
Love to. Yeah, I'd love to.
I always ask this, is there a particular artist you would love? You've worked with some fantastic artists, by the way.
Yeah.
To be honest, I was kind of surprised as well. When I saw the names, I was thinking, wow. And I kind of knew of you anyway, but I was thinking, bloody, he's worked with some great people here, and and it's all polished. Your work's always very polished. I do enjoy it, and
I always try to polish it, but it drives me mad. And when we're talking about social media, music drives me mad even more. So the anxiety that I get from trying to get a project just right, it's exhausting, bro.
It all sounds tight, and
thank you, bro. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I can hear it.
But I obsess over it a long time, like who was the artist that chopped the ear off? Van Gogh. Yeah. I'm probably just short of that. I'm not going to chop anything off, but I drive myself insane trying to get it to a certain point, which isn't really healthy, really, because by the time I'm finished with a project, I'm exhausted, because I'm into it that much. As far as, I don't really know, to be honest. If you asked me that question a few years ago, I'd have said, Gurdas Manji, I'd probably like to work with. I'd still would like to work with him, to be honest. But I don't plan it like I used to. I don't really have a list anymore. It's just, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it's okay, because the thing is, some of the best projects that I've worked on have just happened organically, and it's not been a plan. It's just happened, and it's happened sometimes with a new artist like Garry was at one time, and then they've just blown up, but no one saw all that coming, so you never know, really. But I wouldn't mind working with people like him. One or two others, but I don't really have a list at the moment.
That you want to, I mean, it's interesting to talk about Van Gogh. If you think about him, he was never famous in his own lifetime, and he didn't
only after he was gone.
After he's gone, he doesn't even really know about his legacy and how he's one of the most famous artists in the world. People know him who are not even into art. They know of Van Gogh. So that's the pain and pleasure of art. Being an artist.
Absolutely. It's both, isn't it? Unfortunately, most people never get to smell the flowers while they're still here, right? So it is what it is. But
so you keep churning away like Van Gogh did, and
but with my ears intact.
Keep your ears. That would go too far then, and but look, GV, you're coming towards the end. I've had a great time. I think we've rattled on. And we've talked about a lot of things. Yeah. We have. I don't know. Most of our shows do end up like this. We talk about one particular thing, and we've gone off.
That's what it's all about, bro. It's it's just.
I like it, and I like
improvise as you go.
Yeah, exactly. I have no notes, but I like to improvise as I go, and I like to get to know a person. And and sometimes when someone is a musician, singer, or whatever they do, they're more than that. Their life is more than just what they do. It's about all their experiences in life, and that's hopefully what I've tried to get to know with you today. And especially, obviously, you're a Liverpool fan as well. We started with Liverpool 30 years. We're going to end with Liverpool
champions.
I
think.
Really. There you go. You're looking great, mate. And I'm
going to wear this all summer long. Even on days where it's ridiculously hot, I'm just going to wear it.
Yeah, I remember Dips was on the show, right? And he was. This was before they won the league. Then no football was on at that time, and he goes, I just want them to be playing on the pitch when they win it. I don't want them to be given the trophy.
Same. I said the same thing, because the thing is, the credibility in it all would have gone, because you'll never. Like Man United fans would never have stopped saying, well, you didn't win it, really, you gifted it, even though we were 22 points clear at that point. If you don't win it on the pitch, it's a it's still not credible, is it? So it's like, it just wouldn't have been the same. Especially like we were 2 games off winning it back then. You know,
it's unbelievable. Yeah.
But I did at one point. I did think, this is going to be over. This is going to null and void. I did think that, to be honest.
I did as well. But look, it all worked out in the in the end. And look, I think 2020 is going to work out some way. We're going to get back to normal. Yeah. You're going to be releasing a single, and
for sure.
Life is going to be good.
Yeah. It's going to be good. And the way you got to look at it is people in the past have been through a lot worse than what we've gone through this year. So, you know, they can get through it. We can get through it, and we'll be all right in the end.
We will. Look, GV,
you know,
it's been
pleasure, bro.
It's been a great pleasure.
If you're ever in Birmingham, you let me know, bro. We'll have to go for a drink and a mixed grill or something.
Yep, I'll be there, and I'll give you a shout, and keep in touch. And
sounds good.
We'll swap some WhatsApp pictures of and lifting a trophy.
Yeah, bro. I might see you in Liverpool if they let a parade happen. Yeah, I may even see you there.
If they do, I'm going to go, because I'm up there on my own. Actually, my friends are from down south, so I'm going to go. And I'm
definitely going to be there.
I'll drop you a message. So, we'll go down there. We'll go on Instagram Live.
Let's do that. We'll do that.
Take care, Jimmy.
Thank you, bro. Much love. Thank you.